Hey, Nick, Nick here. Hope all is well. Just wanted to touch base on another day of starting a software company in 100 days, our journey in which we are building an MVP of the playbook process management software tool and a lot of the supporting infrastructure, so pricing, sales page, etc. On yesterday's video, we talked about, or I talked about, some of the shortfalls that I discovered in the specification that I laid out. And thankfully, we are working with a good developer who understands a lot of the little nuances that are necessary in building a quality product. And so I wanted to basically just hop in, share with you the video that was shared with me from our developer so you can see the feedback and what I think is very high quality feedback and uh, basically traits of a quality developer is looking at your specification and being able to in your designs and being able to identify areas of improvement. So we are lucky to be working with a good developer on this project, and this is really why experience building high quality production code is a necessity, in my opinion, if you're going to build a software product that's one, relatively timely to release, and two, relatively close to a reasonable budget, I should say. And so, with this, I'm going to hop over and share with you the video our developer sent me yesterday as an update on the development process, which pointed out some shortfalls in my spec. Here you
Hey, hi Nick. This is Abhay. So I'm creating a short video on the progress so far on the playbook project, and right now I'm on the process creation. So let's just create a process right now. So okay, so, so let's add a due date of 31. Ah, I have some tags. I call them test and assign people to this. And create a process. Once the process is created, we are landed on the next step of process creation, which is adding tasks and decisions. So for that, we would have a different UI. We would we would need to match one with the Figma, but still have not worked on that. It's I could not find a proper solution for that, but still I'm working on finding something. So right now, if you go here, click on plus, you would be able to add a task or a decision. For a decision, okay. For a decision, you would be asked two options, option one, option two, and the name of the decision. So based on that, you would have two paths, and for both the paths, either there would be a decision or there would be another task. So this is how decision looks right now. We have removed the add component part, which was shown here uh, in the Figma, but I've removed that. Second is clicking on add task. We have this task right now. If you see this, as we discussed, this should be an input and user should be able to easily identify it, but Figma right now shows it like this. That's why I've shown it, but I would recommend removing this divider from here and making an input similar to the task description, easy enough for user to identify. But this is how it looks right now. We have added all the dynamic components so far, and I'll try to show each of them one by one. Okay, so first is short answer. If I click on short answer, we could we have the title of the answer. Okay, sorry for that. So for a short answer type, when you click on it, we have this field which is disabled, and we have the title for that field. So you can change it to uh, whatever we want it on the process template form when the tasks are shown. So I'll call it short answer one for now. But uh, but and this the problem here is one thing. What I've noticed here is this field we want it to be pre-filled right now, which I've added it as something. if you see here, I've added it as short answer title, which is pre-filled, and sometimes people might miss out that this was filled and we needed to edit it. So I would suggest let's have just a placeholder here instead of the value field, and add a validation so that user would have to do it manually. So that's the suggestion. Second is I've added a delete icon which is not there in Figma, for all the dynamic components, so that if user adds something by mistakes, some components by mistake, we would be able to remove them. The user would be able to remove them easily. And I've added a required button as we discussed, so that if any of the dynamic field needs to be a mandatory one on the task form, then this way user can easily tell us that this should be mandatory, and while loading that form we could make sure that validations have been applied. So this is how it looks. This is for short answer type. Let's go to next one, paragraph. So for paragraph, it's the same thing. It has a title and it has a empty box with delete and required button. Then a drop down. So for drop down, there is a there is a title for a drop down, and a drop down should have multiple options. So this is how it looks right now. Each option has a delete icon so that user can easily delete those icons. Figma right now does not show it like that way. I've made the changes. Okay, let me find drop down component. Here you go. So basically drop down here is shown like a label, uh, which I did not understand. It did not have a delete button, so that if something is added by mistake or is not needed, cannot be removed. So this is what I've done. This needs validation as well, so that a drop down should at least have uh, options. So if user adds something, we should be able to validate that there are at least two or three options, or at least one option been added to that drop down. Otherwise, it would show empty in the form. So if that is correct, let me know. I'll add the validations for this. Then I'll just delete few. This form is getting bigger. Then there is file upload. File upload just has a title right now. I checked the Google form for it, like how they have file uploads. In their field they have allow only specific file types, the maximum number of files you want, and the file size. uh, this depends upon the requirement of our application, how many files user can upload and all those things. But for now I've just done the title field, but we can implement few things here if we need. All right. So this is there is linear scale. For linear scale, we have title. We have a drop down with an option from 1 to 5. I've hard coded this right now, but if we need this to be configurable, or if we need this to be more like 1 to 10, please let me know. I could add that. Right now, if you change these fields here, you need to add the options here. Yeah. Okay, so linear scale also needs validation. You cannot have linear scale from 1 to 1. I would need to add that, but yeah, still working on that. There is checkbox grid. For checkbox grid, you can add number of rows. Each row has a delete icon, so that if you don't need any of this, you could remove that. So yeah, this is grid. Then there is a date field. I've done this date. This is, you cannot select anything here right now, but this is basic. Then there is a time field which is similar. Um, for assigned employees, there is just a title added here, but you can change that. And on the UI, the assigned employees drop down would be shown different the way we have it, I think, here in the process uh, shown. So we would have similar something like that, but it just needs a title right now. Uh, yeah, and in Figma, the template did not show how assigned employees should look like. So for now, I've done this with an assumption. Then there is checkboxes. For checkboxes, we have this way. Figma has a different, I think. Okay, this is the checkbox list. Figma has it like this. The only change which we have done is we have added a delete icon here and shown this as an input instead of label. So yeah, this is the only change. And similarly for multiple choices. So yeah, so these are not clickable. These are just icons to match the Figma, but this is how it looks right now. So we have done all the dynamic components. There are few validations I think we should add so that user does not make mistakes. But this is at the initial level. If you think we should focus more on the application building right now, then we can do. I can start working tomorrow uh, on the main task page where everything would be shown in proper hierarchy. So, yep, that's it from my side. Please let me know your feedback on this. Uh, Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Well, I hope you liked that video. Gave you some insight into what we're doing with Playbook and some uh, weaknesses that were in my specification. But I think I'm very happy with the work so far. We've only been developing this project for just a hair over 2 weeks. So we've made really good progress. We're starting to get to the point where we can develop actually build out a process. And so that was one of my goals for the next handful of days. Probably by day 32, day 33 is we want to be able to build a process. And we are getting very close to being able to do that. And so just wanted to share with you some real world feedback and some back and forth that I've been having with the developer as we're trying to really work in public here on this project. And so thanks again. Would appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up, a like, or subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep pumping out the videos here. So we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.